Hello students, welcome to Oching class. Today in this video, I am going to cover meaning of Oching, definition of Oching and importance of Oching. Now let us see the meaning of Oching. So what is Oching? Oching is the process of analyzing OCHRs of the business enterprise. It is a step pursued in auditing with an aim of checking the accuracy and reliability of the transactions entered in the company's books of accounts. So Oching it is a careful examination of all original evidences, that is invoices, statements, receipts, correspondence, minutes, contracts, etc., with a view to ascertain the accuracy of the entries in the books of accounts and also to find out as far as possible that no entries have been omitted in the books of accounts. And in this process, the company's transactions are thoroughly verified with the documentary evidences and the authority which forms a basis for recording the transactions in the books of accounts. Next we have definition of Oching. According to Spicer and Pegler, Oching is the examination of the auditor of all the documentary evidences which are available to support the authenticity of the transactions entered in the client's record. Oching involves not only the substantiating the entry in the books of accounts with any documentary evidences like assessments, receipts, counterfoils of receipt book or paying in book contracts, but also involves seeing that the transactions have been properly authorized, recorded and entered in the books of accounts. It also tests the truth of items appearing in the books of original entry. Next we have importance of Oching. So Oching is a very important in auditing process. Oching is the act of checking evidences or documents to find out errors and frauds and also to know the authenticity, accuracy and reliability of books of accounts. So here we have three important reasons or importance to have Oching in every organization. So the first point is Oching is the backbone of auditing. The main aim of auditing is to detect errors and frauds for proving the true and fairness of results presented by income and expenses account and also presented in the balance sheet. So Oching is the only way of detecting all sort of errors and planned frauds. So it is the backbone of auditing. And the second important point or reason of having an Oching in every organization is Oching is the essence of auditing. Auditing not only checks the accuracy of books of accounts but also checks whether the transactions are related to business or not. All the transactions are performed after the prior approval of concerned authority or not. Transactions are real or not, because an accountant may include fictitious transaction to commit frauds. So all these facts can be found with the help of Oching. So Oching is the essence of auditing. And the third important point is like this: Oching is important to see whether evidences are correct or not. So an auditor checks the books of accounts to detect errors and frauds. Frauds may be committed presenting duplicate OCHRs. So all the small and big amounts of frauds can be detected with the help of Oching. So these are the three main important reasons to have an Oching process in our auditing. And finally we can conclude this topic by saying Oching is not only the backbone or essence of auditing but is its soul. Yes, it is the core component of auditing. The entire auditing process and its success depends upon the intelligence and thoroughness with which this part of the work is done by the auditor. Thank you. Hello students. In this video, we are going to talk about objectives of OCHing. The main objective of OCHing is to find out the regularity or irregularity of transaction, frauds or errors. So what is regularity? Regularity means maintaining the record and performing the work compliance with the rules, regulations and law is called regularity. But irregularity means doing the work crossing to the lines of rules or regulations or laws is called irregularity. So some of the major objectives of OCHings are given below. You can see that. So the first point is, the first objective of OCHing is to detect errors and frauds. So all the transactions are to be supported by evidences. Evidences are nothing but your vouchers, invoices, debit note, credit note are the vouchers. So each and every transaction must be supported with the evidences. So each document should be proved by authorized authority. So with the help of OCHing, we can detect errors and frauds by verifying each transaction. So we have to verify the transactions with the evidences so that we can find out and detect the errors and frauds. And the planned frauds can also be detected through this OCHing. So that's why OCHing is one of the major, detecting errors and frauds is one of the major objectives of OCHing, because it helps us to detect the errors and frauds. And the second important objective is to know the truth of account. See, we can easily know the truth of account. That means each and every transaction is checked and rectified on the basis of support document. See, here in OCHing, we are going to verify, we are going to compare our accounting numerical figures with the vouchers. We are going to compare your figures with the vouchers, evidences. So truthness of the accounts can be easily identified through this OCHing. And the third important objective is to find the unrecorded transactions. So OCHing helps to find out the unrecorded or missing transactions. If any voucher is found unrecorded, or auditor can suggest to record such transactions. See, through this OCHing, we can identify the unrecorded transaction, because business organizations will have lot of transactions. They will have n number of transactions, and while transferring those transactions from journal to ledger or from ledger to the trial balance, we are going to omit some transactions. So those transactions can be identified or rectified through this OCHing. So that's why this is a very important objective of OCHing, to find the unrecorded transactions. So if you miss any one transaction, that is going to make a huge impact on your financial statements. Your balance sheet will not tally, your profit will not be proper. So you have to be very careful while OCHing the transaction. And the fourth important objective is to know that all the transactions are authorized. So here, if the transactions are made on the consent of concerned authority, such transactions are known as authorized transactions. So authorized transactions means any transactions you made in the organization, you should take a permission from the concerned authority. So such transactions are known as authorized transactions. If transactions are not authorized, if you have not taken permission from the concerned authority, so such transactions can be fictitious transaction. So such fictitious assets can be found with the help of OCHing. So you can also identify the fictitious assets. That's why this OCHing is very important in every organization. And the fifth point is to know that only the business transactions are recorded. So it is very basic objective that only business transaction, only the transactions which are measured in terms of money and business transactions are recorded in the books of accounts, and non-business transactions and non-material transaction or immaterial transactions are ignored. Sometimes transactions are performed for individual purpose also, but payment is made out of business. Such transaction should not be recorded in account of business. So that means your personal transactions are ignored. You are not supposed to record your personal transactions in the company's books of accounts. And if transactions are recorded, so what if the transactions are recorded? If those transactions are recorded, we can find it with the help of OCHing. And to know the real profit or loss of the business, such transactions are to be separated. Thank you.
Hello dear students, today I am going to talk about vouchers, meaning and types of vouchers. So meaning of voucher. See, a voucher is an accounting document representing an internal intent to make a voucher to an external entity, such as vendor or service provider. A voucher is produced usually after receiving a vendor invoice, after the invoice is successfully matched to a purchase order. A voucher will contain, detailed information regarding the payee, the monetary amount of the payment, or a description of the transaction and more. Now let us see the meaning of vouching. So you can see here, a voucher is nothing but a written or printed piece of documentary evidence which authenticate the transaction. That is, it proves that the entries made in the books of accounts are real and genuine. So in this definition, meaning you can say that vouchers are also known as audit evidences. Business transactions are recorded in the books of accounts are on the basis of written proof. So as I said, vouching is nothing but a written or printed piece of documentary evidence. So it is a printed proof for the transactions recorded in the books of accounts. So it is a piece of paper that shows the details relating to the items appearing in accounting records. So example is a cash memo or bills or invoice, and similar other papers are considered as vouchers. And the other papers include salary book and wage sheets, credit notes, debit note, then insurance policy, credit advisors. So these are a few examples for vouchers. So apart from this, we also have debit advice, passbook, salesman statements, then agreements, dividend warrants, lease deeds, minute books, job cards, then articles of association, opening journal entries, then share certificates, then we also have debenture certificates. So all these are very important vouchers. And all such vouchers are on the basis of entries in the accounting books. So the original vouchers are called as primary voucher, and the duplicate vouchers are called as secondary vouchers. So this we will discuss later. Next we have definition of voucher. So what is the definition of voucher? So according to Ronald A. Irish says that voucher may be a receipt, it may be an invoice, or it is an agreement and a written requisition slip, or in short any suitable written advice which confirms written transaction. So as per Ronald, business transactions are recorded in the books are on the basis of written proofs. So those written proofs are nothing but receipts, invoices, agreement, and any written requisition slip is also constitutes for this voucher. Okay, so next we have characteristics of vouchers. So this voucher has so many characteristics. So let us see those characteristics one by one. The first one we have, voucher is evidence. Of course, voucher is an evidence for recording the transactions in the books of accounts. So the essential feature of voucher is that it is used as evidence. Of course, it is a evidence. So the proof of dealing is available in the shape of a piece of paper. So it is an evidence. What kind of an evidence? It is a piece of paper wherein all the transactions, all the details are recorded in that particular piece of paper. So this voucher is an evidence for future reference. So the auditors are going to verify your transactions with your evidences. So it is an evidence, it is a proof for your transaction. And the second characteristic of this voucher is written form. So voucher is, it should be in the written form. So the essential characteristics of voucher is that it is always always in the written form. So the oral or spoken words cannot become vouchers. So the piece of paper in printed or written form is necessary. And the third one is entry in books. So the entry in the books of accounts is based on the voucher. So it is the it is the quality of vouchers that entries are possible with its help. So the entry is not possible when there is no voucher. So every transaction must be supported with some documentary evidences. So there is no entry. If there is no vouchers, there is no entry in the books of accounts. So it is compulsory in every organization that if there is no vouchers, if there is no evidences, or if there is no proofs, you cannot record such transactions in the books of accounts. And the next one is shows nature of transaction. See, the feature of voucher is that it shows the nature of transaction done by the management. So the purchase, sale, receipt, payment, then expenses are transaction which produce some sort of vouchers. The next one we have business name, and the vouchers are always in the name of business. So a person cannot issue vouchers in his personal name. Always it should be in the name of the business. Okay, so wherein the vouchers are always in the name of the business, the name of manager or the name of employee is not acceptable on the vouchers. So the vouchers are received in the name of business concern only. The next important characteristic is date of voucher. So the date is written on the face of the voucher. It shows the date of transaction. The date must relate to the current year, and it is essential for matching expenses with revenue. So date is a very important characteristics of voucher. The next one we have signature of voucher. And this is also a very important characteristic of voucher. And the feature of voucher is that it carries the number of signatures, and it should not carry number of signatures. So signature from the manager, signature from the concerned person should be there in every voucher. So the vouchers bears the signature of the seller on its face. The buyer approves the voucher, and the manager can put his signature on face or back of approval of dealings. And the next one we have is amount in words and figures. So this is also a very important feature, and the feature of voucher is that it carries the number of goods and services exchanged. So the amount is stated in figures and words. So always you have seen many vouchers. So there we have to write the amount both in words and both in words and figures. And the next one we have accounting year. So the voucher must relate to the accounting year. The transactions are divided into different periods on the basis of date. So the performance of one accounting year can be determined. The last and the important one is genuine voucher. So the voucher must be genuine. It must some sort of transaction relating to nature of business. The consent of management is essential here, and the original copies are genuinely acceptable in every organization. So these are the 11 important characteristics of voucher. So now next we have the points stated here and are to be considered at the first place while checking the vouchers, as we have already discussed about this. So vouchers should be duly authorized by the stipulated signatory. Date of the voucher is mandatory. Name of the parties or clients mentioned in the vouchers, and it should be complete. So if it is not complete, vouchers are not accepted. Say for example, you have written the amount but the signature is not there, it is not acceptable, and it belongs to the business entity only. Next we have types of vouchers. Okay, so there are two types of voucher. They are one is primary voucher and the other one is collateral voucher. So let us see these types of vouchers one by one. So the first one is primary voucher. So what is primary voucher? So you can see here, primary vouchers refers to the written evidence in original. So it should be the original voucher. So example of primary vouchers are purchase invoice, cash memo, cash bills, confirmation of balances, bank statements, contracts, etc. So I'll just tell you what is primary voucher. So the original or printed or written piece of paper relating to the business transaction is called primary voucher. So it is a primary voucher. So written by a written or printed. It should be in the written form or it is also in the form of printed, but it should be the original. So carbon copies are not accepted. Xerox copies are not accepted. Only the printed or written piece of paper relating to the business transaction is called primary voucher. So example, as I said, invoice, cash memo, cash bills, balances are called your primary vouchers. The second one we have collateral voucher. So this collateral voucher is also known as duplicate voucher and also secondary voucher. So this is also an evidence may be collected in the absence of original voucher. So if the primary vouchers are not available, you can collect the secondary or duplicate vouchers. So it is also called secondary vouchers like duplicate bills, carbon copies and copy of resolution. Okay, and with this original, as I said, if the original voucher is not available, copies thereof are produced in support or as a subsidiary to remove suspension and to satisfy the auditor. So if we produce duplicate vouchers or secondary vouchers, many auditors will not accept. So just to convince those auditors, we can produce this collateral vouchers when the original voucher is not available. And such vouchers are known as collateral vouchers. So collateral vouchers are the copies of sales invoice. So sales invoice original format is not available, whereas you will have carbon copies. You can produce that only for the verification to the auditors. The next we have examples of voucher. So these are the few examples of voucher. The sales, if we are doing any sales, then the vouchers are, you can produce these vouchers: sales order, sales invoice, goods outward, register, cash receipt and bank pay-in slip. And if you are involved in any purchase transaction, and you will have these vouchers: quotations, purchase orders, purchase bills, goods inward registers, etc. And if the business is involved in any cash payments, and then they should have demand note, cash receipt, cash memo, etc. and cash received. If the company is receiving any cash, then duplicate or carbon copies of cash receipt, contracts and correspondence with payee. Similarly, bank payments. If the business is making any kind of payment to the banks, then they will have checks, counterfoils, bank statement, etc. Similarly, the last one is payment received through banking channels. So if business receives any payments through banking channels, then they will have to produce bank deposit slip and bank statements to the organization. And so this is about the vouchers and types of vouchers. And thank you so much. Have a good day.